Hi, ow. So the point of today's video is to talk about 5 things to improve your video quality. There are 5 things that really help me, 5 things that I do with every single project that I embark on. So without further ado, let's get into tip 1. Is it bad that I have to check my whiteboard to figure out what tip 1 was? So the first tip is walking and listening to music. Now, walking is probably one of my favorite things. I love getting outside, getting out of my zone, my element, and thinking about the shots that I want to achieve, how to execute those shots, thinking about the general vibe of the video, whatever project it is. Walking allows me to really solidify my thoughts. Now, especially if you already have a song planned out, at least for an intro or whatever, maybe you found a song on Epidemic that you really like, whatever. If you listen to that music while you are walking, it allows you to analyze the beats, the rhythm, the pacing, everything. That way, once you get into the editing process and the filming process, you have a really great relationship and harmony in between all of the elements. Plus, I mean, exercise. It's good for you. And tip number 2 sort of correlates with tip number 1 a little bit, which is of course planning your shots. Now, you don't really want to go into a shoot or really anything with a client or a product or really whatever you're doing without at least thinking about the video you're going to create and the shots that you want to achieve with that process. So my suggestion is don't wing it. Take it from someone who's winged it like way too many times. Products are like people and people are like products. It's not fair to them. And also, if you're working with a team of other individuals, it's not fair to them to not have any of your thoughts mapped out. So please just go into the process, make sure you've thought about it, come in strong, come in confident. You won't regret that. Tip number 3 also correlates to tip number 2, which is storyboarding. Now, I storyboard in 2 ways. If I'm on the go, I have a notebook and a pencil, and if I'm here in my home or office, I have a dry erase board. But this allows you to plan out complex shots or intros, or really whatever you're trying to do, just so you don't have to clutter up your brain. Ow. And also, it allows you to visualize those shots before you get into the shooting process. Personally, I think it's a great way to solidify your storyline, as well as conceptualize with others. Now, tip number 4 is music. And of course, this is kind of hard because you have to find both good music as well as music that won't get you in trouble because of copyright. So personally, I turn to Epidemic Sound as well as Soundcloud. Now with Epidemic Sound, you have a vast amount of music to choose from, some kind of okay, some really good, and some incredibly awful. Now the great thing about these tracks is they all come in stems, and basically what that means is once you download them, they all come in individual tracks. That way, if, say, the track that you like has a vocal track, you can either drop it down in decibels or just eliminate it altogether. That way you just have the instruments. It's a great way to sort of customize the music around your narrative. Now on the other end, there's SoundCloud, and SoundCloud has a lot of pros and cons. The biggest pro is probably the fact that you're giving artists exposure, as well as the fact that there's a lot of really great tracks on SoundCloud that you can't find on Epidemic. But the thing is, you need to make sure that you contact the artist of whatever track you want to use before actually using it. I mean, I can't stress this enough. It's another artist's work. Just make sure they're okay with it and have a blast. And tip number 5 is stock effects. Stock effects are not your friend. Now, I'm not bashing stock effects. I use stock effects too, just not in its stockish glory. Now, if you use Final Cut Pro or other similar software programs, Compound Clip is your friend. Now, essentially what Compound Clip does is it takes, say, the stock effect and turns it into a shell. That way, it's sort of like a video file where you can change the coloring, you can change the contrast and the exposure. That way, you can make that stock effect your own, as well as add different effects on top of it. That way, it's undeniably yours, respecting some of the similar design elements of the original stock effect, but it's harder to replicate now for others. Now, as I said before, stock effects are fine if you're just starting out or you want to get your video up quick. I understand that, especially if you download them from different software sites like Pixel Film Studios or Motion VFX. That's fine, that's understandable. But if you want to go the extra mile in your video creation and you have the time to do so, don't use stock effects. Try something different, or just at least don't use stock effects. So there are 5 basic tips to help improve your videos. Now, if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to go comment down below, as well as hit the like button. Thank you all for watching. Stay tuned and take it easy. Bye.